Welcome back, students, to the version 11 student guide to practical placement tutorial. You should be watching this if you have received your placement book and are preparing to go on placement. And this is just to give you a quick rundown of what we expect and what you do need to fill out while you're on placement. Here we go. So placement guide version 11. Please ensure that you do have this latest version if you are going on to placement November 2020 onwards. Please place your student sticker there if you haven't already received one, and please fill this out as you would normally do at a normal classroom level. Through the contents page, you'll notice that the highlighted coloured areas here, this is stating that this placement book is covering up to 6 units of work that are currently in your course that you have completed. So yes, it is very relevant that this is completed in its fullest before you are gaining your certificate. So the 120 hours, not including breaks, that is the lunch break, the 30-minute lunch break, is to be a part of this, including some observations that the trainers will be doing with you. There is a little bit for you to do in this. The rest of it, we will be coming along as observers to see you doing it in the flesh at the facilities. So as we go through this, okay, as normal on page 4, our red page, please complete this to your fullest. So you will be completing this area immediately. This is your details, okay? This area will be completed by yourself from the information that you receive in your email of where you're going to placement. Now, please note that the facility person may not sign this on induction. They may like to sign that at the end of your placement. Of course, our details, as we are the firm that are organising and allowing you to go on placement with these facilities, and of course your trainer's name, whoever is going to be facilitating with you. This could be the trainer that you've worked with through a face-to-face Zoom or an online class, but then you may have another name of the person that will be visiting you on site at these locations. Remembering, if you're having any problems at the facilities, please speak to your trainer or OSCare directly and let us follow up for you or directly at the facility on your behalf. Don't take it on yourself. You're there is for work experience or placement. We're happy to take that burden for you if there is any issues that you need us to resolve. Information for students, please take the time to peruse this, as it is definitely engaging in regards to what units and why we are doing it. Okay, so all those coloured areas there cover that. Now this here, please again, peruse at your own leisure. Why are you doing this? How placement actually works, why we are recording these hours. Okay. In addition, okay, to this, this is what you're doing here. Are you getting paid? No, of course not. Unless you're lucky enough to already be in the industry or working for a company and they're paying for you normal work hours and placement at the same time, on you for that. Other than that, we're all just volunteers at this stage, but treat it as a 3 to 4 week job trial. They will be watching you while you're on placement, and it could be the induction, basically. What do you need to take with you? Obviously yourself, your uniform, which will be obviously the standard OSCare dress code, black shoes, black pants, and your student uniform and your ID badge. And also take this placement book with you. Have it with you at all times. Leave it at the nurse's station so you can reflect on it. Don't leave it in your car or in the lockers. Okay, that's where your phone and your personal effects are. You should have a pen with you and your ID and this workbook with you on the floor. Okay, yes, please take some snacks and some lunch. There may be some food options available at that location for you, but please take a packed lunch. The staff rooms will have fridges for you. What if you have an accident at work? At the back, the very last 2 pages of this workbook are regarding your incident report for you if you do have an accident at the workplace. Please obviously tell your supervisor, anyone required at the location, and then follow up with an update to us, please. Do's and don'ts, okay? This is very necessary for you guys to have a look at. Please take direction. Please take constructive criticism. Yes, the trainers will have told you one way to do it. Rule number 1 with me, don't say, but Josh said. They don't want to hear it, okay? We are going to show you the basics, but of course, everyone has their own way of doing it. As long as it's not illegal, learn from that. You may like the way I do it. You may like it another way another trainer does it. You may like it the way they do it. You can pick and choose which way you like once you've got the job. So yeah, take a bit of direction. They're showing you their way of doing it. No mobile phones in the facilities, people. Leave them in your car, leave them in your locker. No mobile phones while you're on the floor on duty. Personal presentation and dress code, you're there to impress management, of course, if you want a job, but you're also there to be functional for the facility and to the residents, okay? I'm certainly going to say no tight-fitting clothing, nothing that's going to be increasing heart rates of residents, okay? And nothing too casual that you don't really want to be there. I strongly suggest if it is going to be a black shoe, it's a leather upper or something enclosed, so water during showers doesn't get in through the meshing of other like exercise or running shoes and so forth. But your trainer should have already taken you through that. Again, constructive criticism. They may be telling you don't do that. Go, okay, how would you like me to do it? Go with the flow. If you are having a bit of a hard time from one worker, remember you're not going to be there with them the whole time. Take the good with the bad. Use your initiative. Please, people, get engaged, get involved. I'd rather them go to an OSCAR student, hey, ease up, Turbo, let us show you the ropes here as well, rather than you stand back and be an observer. You're all the way down the back, and they will only ask you to come forward once. If you hang back, they will not ask you again, and you may not get anything done. You are there to be involved. You are there to get your hands dirty, basically. Banned substances, obviously, you should not be attending any of this under the influence of any drugs or alcohol. Workers don't, you won't. Smoking, if you do like your lung lollies, typically they will pair you up with another smoker so you can take your breaks at the same time and they can take you to the designated smoking areas. Falling behind, I do expect a couple of people to get sick on placement. You are entering a new area. And if you haven't, as I tell all my classes, you should be on your probiotics, you should be taking some multivitamins, you should be eating well and building up your immune system for when you get on placements. At least one person in every class will get sick on placement. And that's why I book 4 weeks out for you. You should only take 3.5 weeks to do this. You book an extra few days. So if you have to take a 6 day off, please notify the facility, notify us that you are not going to be there. The facilities are 24-hour. There's no excuse why you can't call them and tell them that you're not going to be there the next day. Of course, overall safety, people, workplace health and safety, duty of care does apply while you're there. Any medical issues that may prevent you working in this industry, if you haven't already told us, now would be the time to let them know what could be happening. And of course, unacceptable behavior. Okay, if we haven't already gone over this in classes with you and deemed what is inappropriate, please have a quick rundown of that. Okay, and that's what we're going to be looking at. Issues arising during work placement. If there's any issues, please give us a buzz. Talk to us directly. If not, head office, your trainer. And of course, contacting us. I've already given you the details or where the trainer's details will be given to you earlier. You might have, typically my students, you'll have me on Facebook with Townsville Day Trainer. You can ring the office on that 1300 number or your trainer directly if they've been given their mobile number. Hints and tips for successful placement. Yeah, you should be there 15 minutes early. I'd expect you're there half an hour early and the first 15 minutes is in the staff room listening to the other staff get ready. Does that mean you can start your hours early? Yeah, it does. 15 minutes. If you're there in the staff room listening to the staff brief up ready for the day, wear the appropriate pants, non-slip footwear, as we expect. Okay, there's no excuse for not calling in if you're not going to be there for the day. Use your manners, be polite, treat each day as a job interview. Absolutely. And respect others. Now, there are going to be staff loving you be there, an extra set of hands, use someone else to show the ropes. They're going to love it. There are going to be some people that don't want you there because you're a threat to them. Take the good with the bad. Smile and wave and keep on plugging. Guidelines, okay? What you can and can't do, okay? Definitely you're not feeding someone in their room unattended. There is a worker there with you, that is fine. You should not be cutting anybody's toenails. That's for podiatry only. You should not be cutting the nails of any diabetic, okay? But you can do fingernails of any other resident if that facility allows for it. You should not be transferring any other, a client with any other student. Okay, it can be with another worker. It can be two students and a worker, but there has to be a worker there, not two students by themselves. You should not be giving any medication to students unless under the direct observation of the RN. You should not be using a float chair, Regency or Princess chair unless you've been trained in it. Those students here in Townsville have already played with a float chair. Not sure if there's a float chair down at any of the other locations for manual handling. So make sure you've been given instructions before using a float chair. That is in the back of your first day resource book. You should not be rolling a client with hip precautions unless under the direction of other fellow workers or the RN, and you should not be buddied with an agency or temp staff member. You should be with a genuine employee of that facility and not a temp. Possibly in your fourth week, they may place temp workers with you because you probably know more than anybody else after week 3. But of course, what can you do? You are certainly assisting with all personal cares and toileting and showering of any residents, okay? You can be a part of that team that are doing it, and by, let's say, end of week 1, week 2, you could be doing some solo one-on-ones once you've been instructed and you're comfortable with it, okay? You should be feeding any personal activities of daily care. You should be hoisting with other buddies and other staff, okay? Assist with changing incontinent aids, anything else like that. Should be using slide sheets, should be using wheelchairs, linen trolleys, making beds, all of the above. Everything that an AIN or a PCW should be doing, you can be doing as well. And of course, read care plans. Okay, so on your first day, this is a quick little checklist we suggest that you complete on the first day during induction. Okay, fill that out, sign it off. A seek and find. I would like this to be done by the end of the first week. Okay, this will be very specific to your facility only, of course. Where are the care plans? Where are the shortcut sheets? And so forth. Where do they hide the batteries? Okay, what color codes do they use on their mop buckets and their linen bags? Different for every facility, I can guarantee you. And a good one is ACFE documentation. Where are they hiding the ACFE documentation? Keep an eye out for yellow folders. Now, here's where it starts getting real, people. Put your name on that, and please, this is what you're going to start on the very first day. You're going to write down the date that you did this, okay? These 2 pages are the main pages that you want to live with for the next 4 weeks. If you assist someone with a shower today, bang, put it in there. If you assist a shower with someone the next day, bang, put it in. If you don't assist someone with a shower the next day, that's fine. If you do assist them on the 4th day, put the next day. Do not leave blanks. This is not a running tally. This is a whenever you've done it, you fill it in. So if you do that on the, can I do this? Add a signature. Let me just see if I can do. So you might put into here the 3rd of the 11th. Sorry, the 2nd of the 11th. You might put in the 3rd of the 11th. You might then put the 6th of the 11th. Okay, that might be the 10th of the 11th. Don't leave a gap, people, okay? It flows on. You may leave a couple of days where you don't assist with a shower. That's fine. Don't leave a gap. Put the next day that you actually do one in there. Understand? Same with assisting with bed bathing and so forth, okay? And everything else here. If you do it, put the date in it, please. Just need to put the date in the month, okay? Do not worry about the year. We know that you're doing this in 2020, okay? Assist with toileting, meals, hair care, mobility. The ones that are going to be hard on this page will be nail care and shaving. Not everybody grows hair overnight. So if you don't do many of these until the 3rd or the 4th week, that's fine. On this page, reporting concerns verbally. Telling your buddy, oh, what's that over there? Or why is this mark here? That's a concern verbally to your buddy. Mark it down. It doesn't need to be a RN or a clinical manager. Reading your care plans. You are allowed to read care plans. You've done a police check. You've signed all the privacy and confidentiality forms to be working at this facility. You are allowed to read care plans. But if someone pulls you up on it and says you can't, Don't fight it or be objective about it. Tell us and we will follow that up for you. Behaviour management plans should be in with the care plans. Observing an incident report. I'm hoping you will not fill this column at all, because if you've seen 9 incident reports while you're on placement, I'm going to be a little bit concerned. But you're not going to be filling that out. If an incident does occur and you're in that wing when it happens, ask the buddy, ask the RN, can you watch it happen so you can sign it off? Timesheet completion, well, obviously. Sign out, register at the facility. You should always be signing into every facility that you're at. If there's a fire, you need to be signed in. Okay? Participate induction in each area that you work. Some people will be set to one wing for the whole time you're there. So that may only be once. But if there's different areas, please sign it in for each area. Hand washing and gloves. Service information. Where are the brochures about what they can do and stuff? In the lobby, staff room, perhaps. Handovers. Well, every shift you start, there should be a handover. Pressure sores every time you're changing or turning a client. And code of conducts. Well, that's a staff policy. Where are they? Probably in the staff room or on the computer. Get to reading. So they're the main things I want done every day that you're there. That's what you're concentrating on the first couple of weeks and for the rest of it. So what about the rest of the book, Josh? Well, people, the timesheet is what I want you to primarily care about. The timesheet and these blue sheets. They're the main things you need to focus on. Our staff will worry about the rest of it. So you must complete the timesheet every day that you're attending. Do not forward fill this in. Do not complete all the dates, because what if you're sick? Do it day by day, please. I say it seriously now. The last 3 years, someone does this wrong. Please do it day by day. The date that you're there, your start time, your end time, less the major lunch break, which is typically the 30-minute. Don't worry about the first 20, 15-minute break, just the 30-minute break. Then how many hours did you do? You sign it, then your supervisor signs it. Be it your buddy, the RN, or even administration can sign that. There we are there. Okay? That's what I want you to do for the first week. Total it, please. For the second week, total it. For the third week, total it. I believe you'll get an email to send your current third week total hours to head office so we can keep an eye on what you guys are up to. And of course, the fourth week, if required, to get to those 120 hours less the breaks, the half-hour break. So I typically tell everyone, aim for 130 hours, okay? Doing some extra hours, is that going to look bad against you? Of course not. And of course, from here, do not commence any further of the book until the second week of placement or we've visited you, okay? So here we have what us trainers need to observe you doing, okay? And once you start reading this, you'll go, well, hang on, I do that all the time when I work with the clients. Yeah, you do. But we need to break it up into very small pieces to show the government that you're doing it, okay? So you can put your name in all these areas and the trainer and the assessor, we will mark off that we're seeing you do that. Did you find the care plans? Did you allow the space of the client to do this? We'll be tick and flicking all this when we come in to observe you, okay? And then we'll write an observation and we'll date it and all that. If you can put your name in there for us, that would be great. So we'll do that for 2 individuals for that section. Actually, there's 3 for that one, okay? A meetings of personal support needs, there's 2 individuals for us to do this. Have you bed, showered, oral hygiene, grooming, and all that? We will tick and all that, and we will follow on with that. So that is for us to do, okay? You might have a particular client that you work with well, and when we arrive there, say, hey, I'm about to work with Margaret. Would you like to do my observations with Margaret? She's already said yes, the trainer can watch. That would be awesome. So again, trainer to complete all this. Now, you may be going to a facility where the buddies there are very familiar with the Oscare students coming through. I've got no problem with a buddy doing some of this. I'm going to have to come along and co-sign it anyway. But if a buddy wants to say, yeah, I have seen them do this and tick and flick some of this, I will have to go over it again and see it as a like an auditing process, but it is always good to see that the buddies are getting engaged with you and are confident with what you're doing. This area here, again, you should not be going this far. Please read it in the book, but don't be playing with any of this until about the 3rd week. The trainer will come through and say, hey, I haven't been able to see you to do any of this, or through privacy, they don't want a 3rd or 4th person in a room. We will sign this and allow you to do a journal entry. So let's say for shaving a client, we may not get around to see you doing that. We will ask you to give us a journal entry of the time that you did do it, how you introduced yourself to the client, asked if they wanted to shave, how you set it up and stuff like that. So you give me a little story or a dot point of the process that you did with that client, the date of it, and so forth. Then we will have an ability to get your buddies to sign off that, yes, we did see the student do that, okay? And that is an area that we will allow. As you can see here, this will be done by a supervisor or another qualified person, i.e. has their Cert 3 already, okay? Typically your buddy or higher. We will allow them to tick and flick this to say, yep, I did see Josh do this. Yep, he did do that. And we will get them to write an observation and we'll get them to sign it off. Okay, on top of that, then we will follow up. Working with dementia, okay, definitely fill this out. This is something in week 3 or 4, you can complete this, because by then you're going to be very familiar with your residents. So you'll fill this out on observation of client 1 and client 2. So 2 different observations for 2 different clients, how you interacted with them and how you dealt with the situation. Remember, dementia is in every wing, not just the secure units, because once they become immobile, they'll move them into the general wings. So there will be dementia available for you guys to work with. Home and community, okay? If you don't get to do home and community and you're in a facility, remember, their room is their home. So we'll be specifically looking to observe you when you're in their room on a couple of occasions to fulfill this area here, okay? The client's room is their home. So we'll do that. And typically we'll try and do it as a group therapy room as well. The group rooms, that works really well with that as well. So we'll see you guys engaging with that. Empowerment of the older people as well. Again, very much you're already doing this. By week 3 or 4 when we're there, this is going to be very easy to see that. Have you been showing respect to the clients? Have you built relationships and rapport with the clients? Did you maintain privacy by not speaking out of turn about a particular client's issues at the time, and so forth? And then facilitating the empowerment of people with disability. Now, older people have disabilities too, so I want everybody to complete every section of this book. I want you to find, and do this in week 3, week 4, your 2 most, nobody has favorites, but your 2 most memorable clients. What were their needs and goals? What were their current options and strategies for participation in achieving these goals? I want you to do that for 2 clients and then complete for me a strategy that you could put forward to me or a supervisor to improve that with them. So that is certainly a unit for those that are doing the disability unit, but it applies to us even in the aging sector. So everyone is to complete every unit in this. And then, of course, the last appendix there is the accident report form if you have an accident at the facility, not for a resident, for you personally. Well, there we are, people. There is a quick rundown on the placement book version 11. Like I said, the trainers will be coming in to see you and to complete most of the back end of that book, but I would expect you guys to be completing the front end of the book, which is this seek and find within the first week. These here of tasks you're doing as they go. Don't leave any blanks between dates, please. You may not fill them all, especially some of these bottom ones, but I would expect most to be full by the end of your 4th week. And then, of course, don't forget your timesheets. Please take your time. Let me touch on times again. If you're doing a 7 till 3 shift, a half-hour break, okay? But remember, if you get there at 6:30 and you're in the lunchroom by 6:45, listening to all the staff chatter about the day coming and organising where they're being, can you put down 6:45 as your start time? Yes, you can. The end time, if you're finishing at 3 o'clock, but you've got half an hour up your sleeve to read some care plans, finish at 3:30. So can you stretch out some extra hours? Yes, you can. But please put it into 15-minute blocks. Do not put, I finished at 7:42. No, I'm just going to round it back down to 7:40. Okay? So keep it to the quarter hour, people. It makes more sense. It makes it easier for you when you're tallying your time. Thanks, guys, for listening into this. Have fun on placement. It's going to be great out there. You are going to enjoy it. It's going to be a lot easier than you expect once you get into the routine of it. So good luck with it. Look to hear from you later on. Catch you later.